Are you ready for the Aeons? Are you ready? This is Aloe Black, by the way. We're now going to talk about the Aeon flows. Someone was nice enough to contact me and say, hey, look, I live out of the country, like in Europe, and I'm going to order both the closed and open Aeons, the flow version. I'm going to order both of them. And when you're done with the review, send them out to me. I'm like, aight. So that's why they're here at the same time. This would be an impossible thing unless I spent all the Patreon money. And now that YouTube has decided to fuck me over with their algorithm because I say fuck occasionally, the Patreon is going to be real important, so why don't you check out that link. First question. Can we get this just out of the way? The closed back Aeon flows are not Ether C flows. They're just not. Right? They just, ooh, are they close? They're, ooh, but, ooh, no. Right? I brought these out because that's the question. It's never the question between these two or these. It's always, well, just get these because they're just as good. They're not. They're not this. But I'm glad they're here so I could reference things. I also got a message when someone saw me unbox these. The open backs. He literally started the message as, before you give the open backs a bad review, you have to do all this stuff to it. And it was like mod stuff. It was either EQ or modifications to the inside. I'm like, look, I'm borrowing these. And number two, I shouldn't have to run an EQ. I try not to fix any headphones that I'm about to review with EQ. I have the TrueFi software. And while that's fun to play with, if I'm reviewing something, I have to review it in the case of like, you took it out of the box, you burned it in, and you listened to it, and then you hated it. Well, I took these out of the box, and I burned them in, and I put them on my head, and I don't hate any of them. But I do have some words. So let's start off with the open backs. Now, build. Probably some of the most comfortable headphones you can buy, just straight out of the box. Now, I mean, who doesn't love this giant... I mean, these are the Brainwaves double XL or XL pads, and these are those sheepskin ones, so I put those in the $1,800 pair of headphones. But these, by default, come with their, like that ear shape, you know, like the shape of an ear. So, comfort, straight up. And since they're smaller than those, they're lighter. And they're not made of carbon, but it's a light weave, and it's the same headband, except for that has the pivot, and this just has a pivot here, because it's flexible enough. I really love Mr. Speaker's headband design, because it's small and light, yet it seems durable and reliable and high quality enough. It's some of the headband designs are just wait. So see those blue headphones? Just fucking wait till I get to those blue. I forgot the name of them. There's some weird name, Sonatas or something. Because that's over fucking complicated. This is fine. It's got a good look at the linear spring tension. It's got these slide just up and down, these like rubber grips. Just grab on and slide. And since they're dual entry, nothing has to pass across. Although they probably could if you really wanted to. So they're comfortable. They're light. You put them on, they feel great. Oh, your earlobe, like no one thinks about the earlobe. But guess what? You're watching this video. You and another 10,000 people. Stop looking at that. Listen to me. Where's your earlobe right now? You feel it? You don't think about your earlobe until I say it. Now you're fucked. Because now you're like, whoa, my earlobe is like, oh. Because even on this big one, my earlobe will just sometimes rest like there because the actual opening is so much taller. And it's just, yeah, these are comfortable as fuck. And the clamp's never too hard. And the pads. Now, the real owner, the European owner, bought an extra set of pads for these. So I assumed that I could just take the pads off. And you really, can't. They're just glue. See glue? It's glue. And I'm like, oof. No. I'm not going to do that. I will show you something behind this that's not here. Just looking through the thing. We'll get to that. All right, you sit here. So what do the Aeon flows come with? Aeon flows come in a beautiful box. It says Aeon Flow. Ooh. And in that beautiful box comes a beautiful carrying case. And this is similar to the ones that came with the ethers. I really like those. Some people didn't. I don't understand. But it's a very form-fitting thing. And there's a block of foam to put in the cups so that it keeps everything separated. And then here is a brand new dumb cable. And here is the dumb cable that came with the new sets. Now my set of flows is older, so we could actually look at the differences. So my ethers came with that giant Nutrix connector, and the new ones come with a screw-on 1/4-inch adapter one. So this is just automatically better. So as much as I like the Nutrix and stuff, which is that needs to be polished. It's been worn. That's been used a lot. This is just a smoother, lighter thing. And then you get down here. This was a stiffer, harder, like it was wrapped tighter. This is looser. You could actually see it slides a bit. I do still have the same. Well, let's keep going before I yell about the problem. You go down the line. This is a little thicker. This is a little tighter weave. The split on the old dumb cable, get to you, was heat shrink. The split on the new dumb cable is injection molded and pressed, I think. It's pro gear shit. It's nice. It looks like they actually went to someone to make this. Then the connectors on my old ones, you got sort of like a loose fitting thing, and then they put a piece of heat shrink just around one side that was red, and that was, hold on, that was it. This one, heat shrink under the loose fitting thing, no label there because it's there, so it's a much cleaner look. I don't mind that, but you can tell the dumb cable's been improved. However, the dumb cable's still dumb, and I'll tell you why the dumb cable's still dumb. Because as beautifully as it's made, it's too light. Here's the thing: it's just personal preference alone. You could argue in the comments if you want your headphone cables. Because I was talking to Ursine, because he made this cable for me. And here's the original dumb cable, and you can see it just sort of like floats. It's got no mass to it, which is okay. I'm okay with light, thin cables, but this is a light, thick cable, so it's sort of like, I don't know, where did I have you plugged in? I'll plug you back in. It never sort of sits right on my desk, and that's just me and it's cable problems, and it's fine. I'm fine with cable. Thank you, Aloe. Aaron. White Zombie, Elliot Smith, Easy Way Out. I should look at the build differences between the two before I get into sound. And I know you want me to get into sound, and I'm going to talk about this cable too, but that's the difference. There you go. Are we done? This is a solid piece of carbon fiber blocking it off, and this is a mesh with heavy friggin' foam behind it. And actually, these don't. I just realized these don't say Aeon, and these do. So you have to look up here where it says Aeon and Flow, and over here it says Aeon and Flow, and on top it says Mr. Speakers, and the L and the R are written on the headband. It's not, I mean, you can't. If you fuck this up front and back, how does the human ear look? Backwards. If you put these on backwards, I swear to God, there's a picture going around. I forget who made the picture, but the guy's wearing HD800s backwards. And it's just like, wow. And it's from a company that makes like high-end audio equipment. And like, who took these pictures? You notice there's these white, like, lung-shaped things on the desk? They look like a pair of lungs. Right? Each pair of these came with dampening mods. So it starts off, it says right here, this tuning material allows you to customize your headphone sound to your taste, which I have no problem with. The Beyerdynamic 1990s came with two different pads, one that was the neutral pad and one that was the reference pad or some. They were just like, oh, so it's okay. And then you got the tax stars with the switch, and these come with literally things you shove in the hole. If you look in my hole, come look in my hole, everybody. There. It comes with 3 things. Now, the ones that's installed by default are these white ones, which are 2-notch, which it says right here. Insert the pads in the ear well and enjoy. We suggest not going back and forth, but enjoying an extended listening to understand the differences. And I've had these for a while, and I've swapped them out. And now I'm switching back and forth because it's the test day. And it says black is minimum dampening, 1 notch in white is medium, which is pre-installed, and 2 notches in white is maximum dampening. Now, after much testing, and again, if you buy these, you can adjust your own, but after my testing on my ears with what I like, take out the mediums and I put in just the foamies. Now, that's wrong. There aren't 3 levels. There's 4 levels. Right now, there's no dampening. Now, these are the let's talk about something. This is the closed back. This is the open back. If I pull out the foam on the open back, blatantly, you can see the driver right there, right? You see the vertical lines. You could see it, and I can't pull the pad off, but, you know, I don't have to. Bam, you could see the driver. Let's look. Here, we don't see the driver, and if you feel, it doesn't feel like you could feel something, but it's, you know, something's in there. This pad I was able to peel back just a little bit more. Dampening foam, more dampening foam. So this closed back behind the pad, before any of this, has 2 layers of dampening already, a white piece and a black piece. And you know what? Good. Because behind this, if you feel in here, well, am I pulling this pad off a little bit? Just look, white foam, white felt, black foam, automatically already over the driver. You don't see the driver. Mr. Speakers, I will give him this, has a fucking ear for making a closed back headphone. Just better than anything anywhere else. I'll put you back on so I can actually listen. Mod House, Argons. When he gets the T50s raw and he starts figuring out how to dampen them, and it's all about dampening. It's all about taking sound and saying, stop this much sound. No, that's too dense. Stop this much sound. No, that's too much. And then packing it in. Giggity. Now, the problem I find with Mr. Speakers is he's very good at dampening closed backs. You hand him an open back, and it almost never sounds like it has the absolute benefits of an open back. Like Hi-Fi Man, you just look at it and it's just, there's the outside of the driver, and there's the inside of the driver, and it's fucking great. Even the M1060Cs, there's hardly anything there. You open up, well, not the Cs. The Cs have some stuff, but the M1060s, it's just driver and driver. He does a lot of work dampening the outside, and then the insides are exposed and you add more dampening. But even though these are officially open, and if I play music, you know, this one, nothing, and this one, you hear music. It never quite has that put it on and I feel like I'm wearing open back headphones. I had the air conditioner running before I started this test. And I put on the closed backs, and I don't hear the air conditioner or listen to music. I put on the open backs, and I don't hear the air conditioner or listen to music. Because there's still something back here, still a lot back here. And I've been through the different dampening levels, and I've determined my preference. Open backs, you either go with no dampening, which isn't even a listed option. Minimum dampening is none, not minimum. So you can just pull them out and listen to them. That can get a little bit, I don't want to say the word harsh, because even if I put in the thickest dampening pads, the highs don't like disappear. What this stuff does is trap a lot of mid bass. So you get a twisting of the sound, but not like, you don't like put it on and it sounds like you're listening through, you know, someone else's headphones on a sound demo on YouTube. It sounds still clear, just, I don't want to say warmer either. Different. I'm just going to say different. If you pull out them entirely on this, you get this exposure. In fact, let's pull them out right now. I'm pulling it out. Cios is a pro at that. Do this, pick up my remote, use my Flirt to change things with my Vizio remote. And I could hear Tangerine Dream, Love on a Real Train, the Betamax. What the hell is this from? Mr. Robot. Of course it's from Mr. Robot. And there's just bells and the sounds, and it's like, ooh. It's so 80s. 80s retro comeback. Hi. What do you want? I don't know why she's staring at the headphones. Thank God it's easy to put in. Thank God this isn't like peel the pad off and then insert it into this plastic ring and twist. It's just shove them in there. So if you're going to give everyone, and this is a little bit daunting to me because when I listen to a headphone, I usually just get it and I listen to a headphone and then I form an opinion. So the guy sent me 2 headphones, so I had to listen to 2 headphones. Nay, I had to listen to 8 headphones because I had to listen to these without the pad, without dampening, then with minimum dampening, then with medium dampening, and then with maximum dampening. I had to listen to all up and down the range. So it was pain in my ass. I'm sorry for the delay. But I've determined I can live with minimum dampening on the closeback. You don't want the closebacks get a little bit too intense with nothing. With nothing in here, it's a little bit much. Even though there's 2 pieces of dampening foam back there, felt and foam, or felt and felt, this will just do some good. And I have an issue with this, a comfort issue with this, because if you leave them with nothing in it, or even if you put these in there, it's very thin. These are like 3/16 of an inch, and my ear hits this. My ear does not hit anything when there's nothing in there. But as soon as I add this, now the very, very, very outside of my ear touches something. So that perfect comfort, and it is as close to perfect as I want to say, for weight and clamp and shape. And it's like, now my ear is touching it. Skip forward. Fifth Element, Mina Hinu. Fifth Element's a movie soundtrack. Oh God, I went to the closebacks. I don't want to put the closebacks on. Oh, I can't orgasm on camera. That's. I mean, I can, but you'd have to pay for a different Patreon level for that. So I'm sitting here for this final listen, and I've got a balanced cable coming off the X7S. I got the standard dumb cable coming off the X1S. If you can't see it, the X1S is at 3 o'clock, and the X7S is at 1 o'clock. Those are high. And then I had these brought out, and then I put on the Base X, and that's at like 9:30. And I had these over there, and I was like, nope, over there, more power. So if you want to talk about power and power requirements, I've had these here for a couple weeks, and I've tested various the TAC amps, the PS Audio amp, and every one of them, I felt like these were trying to kill the amps. They're so hard. I mean, one amp, which one was it? Was it the TAC? There was an amp I plugged these into that they just didn't work. Not that no sound came out, but so little sound came out at maximum volume, I couldn't explain what the problem was. I was like, well, but it doesn't make sense. Because, I mean, even if I put it in there and max it, the X1S is not that powerful an amp. Not that powerful. The X7 is. If I plug it in that way, I gotta tweak a little bit more than that. But you can get, usually, things to power. Like, if I plug an adapter into the 1/4 inch, I can get a portable amp and walk. No. One amp was like, no, and other amps have been like, fuck. So it's a miracle that the own stack can even push it. And I've had them back and forth to that. And that is still, again, stupid 50 watt per channel at 8 ohm. What is the ohms on these? You guys know what the ohms are. This is a good test. Of course I know, but I'm going to assume I don't and just ask you guys in the comments. Does balanced help? Balance is going to help in the scenario of these headphones because most balanced amplifiers, and these are very similar in power, even though that one's an added amp, the fact that that's at 3 o'clock and that's at 1 o'clock, that's because balanced. If I plug that into 1/4 inch, that would both be near 3 o'clock. So I would say look into a balanced cable simply because you need more power. How do they sound? Wait a second. God, this is going to be like a 30-minute review. Let's talk about this cable. Now, Periap's coming out with a system like this. I know DMS3TV was offering cables with a system similar to this, but Earthsign beat everybody to the punch. This is a detachable Y split. And I asked for this color scheme specifically. I think we should call it the Zeos, where you get an individual red and blue wire, therefore need no indicators. And then this main wire is purple, because what happens when you mix red and blue? Come on, 5-year-olds, 4-year-olds? When did you learn that? You get purple. And it's simply a 4-pin mini XLR. And here's the beauty part, Rich. I figured out if I go with him and say, all right, he sent me this one for free because he's like, hey, try this out and review it and review. Okay, great. I'm going to probably pay him. Probably, maybe, I don't know. Is he watching? How you doing? I'm gonna say, make me 3 more of these. Make me a 1/4 inch, make me a 2.5 millimeter balanced, and make me a 3.5 millimeter unbalanced. And this way I'll have 4 of these cables, and then I'm just gonna have to start ordering these Y splits for anything that can support it. 1/8 of an inch, that's an 1/8 of an inch, that's an MXC. And then the best part is you can even go from balanced to a single-sided. So I can get the single-sided one to run my Argons, the T60s, T20s, and they'll just all plug together, and it'll all be a magic happy family where everything matches. I'm sure it's going to cost a pretty penny. So I might have to sell Chewbacca's meat. Not the cat. I would never sell the cat. But I'd skin you and sell your meat. That's worth at least $7,000 a pound. Yeah. She's been coming out more and more. Oh. Okay, go away. Anyway, that's this cable. Let's talk about how they sound. I'm sure that someone will jump to a timestamp and they'll get the highest upvotes and then they'll favorite them and they'll be the king of the internet. They're not ethers. Now, most people haven't heard the ethers, so I'm not going to compare too much to that. Let's compare to other lesser things. They're better than most lesser things. Right? You put these on, and they sound like Mr. Speakers made some planars. Now, I prefer the closed back. I know, you all saw that coming. Zeos doesn't like open back Mr. Speakers. And it's not that I don't like them, it's just that they don't sound open. They don't sound open enough. I went back and forth, and the closed backs, when you hear like a sound and it's in an echo chamber and it's like, you hear, I went back and did sound clips for every song, different dampenings, different balance, and the closed backs are just so much more there. The open backs, when you put them on, immediately sound a little bit wider, but they never like image as well. I think that's, and it's weird because the imaging actually across physically is pretty much flawless on both of them. The big difference, I'll talk about these for a second. You put these on and you're in a goddamn concert hall and there's someone playing there and the low end comes in and it's stupid. And these are not a concert hall. These are a recording studio. This is a well managed acoustical space you're putting on your head. This one, a little bit more. I'm talking about like a almost immeasurable amount more width when you put them on. And you're hearing things. That's ooh. And then you put the dampening in it because it's got to be calmed down a little bit because you're right there. And it's like, oh shit, yes, this is exactly what I'm listening for. And then I put on the closed back, and it feels a little tighter, a little closer to your head. Certainly, I was doing closed back comparisons between this and this, and it sounds like these. Let me just give you our imaginary number: 2 meters apart, 6 feet apart. It's just where sound is originating, and these sound like 3 feet apart. It's just the speakers went from there to here, and you're just like, oh, okay. So you get a little more intensity of sound. And here's the thing. The closer the speakers are to you in the imaginary land of headphones, the closer it sounds like the sounds are, the more sounds you hear. The quieter sounds, the little, like, when someone does this in a song, that little, like, slap, you'll hear that more with these than maybe even with these. Maybe because they're just so close. I was playing around. Hold on. Neon Demon. Go to Amazon and watch the Neon Demon. It's great. The song has got like bells that are fading into the distance. And it's just ricocheting back and forth in my head. You know what? I was just going to reference the goddamn Mad Dogs. The very first time I reviewed the Mad Dogs. Because I loved... Mad Dog's my first Mr. Speaker's taste. They were everyone's first Mr. Speaker's taste. And it was like, holy shit, the imaging that's happening around the headphone. Not just across, but things are happening physically here. And he still can get that. Still. I'll give you the Italian hand. Don't fear me. No fear me. Anyway, what does she want? You got to poop? You're interrupting. This is important. I have 100,000 subscribers now, but YouTube is fucking me. Yeah, I'm down 25% in monthly views after hitting 100,000. It's great. It's just fucking great. Both sets in here. This is a pretty good example track. I'll go back and I'll listen to it again. Wait. You gotta wait for me. Sorry. Where is that sound? Oh yeah. That's an oh yeah. Let's put on the open backs. If you can't tell, I'll say which ones I'm wearing. And I put on the closed backs and I talk and I sound like I'm wearing closed headphones. And I put on the open backs and I talk and I sound like I'm wearing a more open headphone. But they never sound airy. Like, it sounds like things are going in the distance, but they're not actually going further away. They're just getting smaller. It's a very strange thing. I don't dislike the open backs. I don't. If I had to choose between the two, I personally would just take the closed backs. I've heard the Voces. They're not called the voice. You can't say VOCE and tell me that's a voice. Because then I could spell my name as ZEOS. And it's called Penis Hammer. That's how you pronounce ZEOS. You can't. You can't change the pronunciation just because you named it Vaque. So the Vaque are intense. And I'd love to get a set. Either he could send me them or someone else is going to buy them. I don't really feel like throwing like $4,000 at some electrostatics. But I'm just going to make this hand motion until I'm holding them. These are so... They sound like quality. I'll sum that up. It doesn't sound like you're buying $200 headphones that sound really good for their cost. It sounds like you're spending $800 on headphones and you're getting $800 worth of headphone sound. There's not much in the way of like Bear Dynamics or any mod. There's no mods you can do to M1060s or M1060Cs to make them sound as good as Aeons. That's all you needed at the beginning of this video. I should have just started with that. There's a certain... We've got to talk about stacks. Don't bring stacks into this, you pieces of shit. You know, these white things are really bothering me. Looks like some sort of weird rose petals jumped out. Yeah, the thicker you go with the dampening, the more mid-bass, bass, and sometimes closeness you get. So I mean, I want as wide as humanly possible. I would just step these things way the fuck out, if you could. So I'm leaving the white ones out. We're going with black on black. Here's the thing. When I do sound demos, I always use my Ether C flows. Always. I put them on and I listen and I trust them 100% to be that's amazing. And then I put these on as a test. I was doing a sound demo in the living room and I had those and I went, all right, let me try these now. And I just was like, ooh, no, I'll go back to this. These are very, very revealing headphones. If your music sucks, you're going to know it. There are some headphones you put on. These, for example, I trust them, but they don't ruin bad music. Everything out of them sounds amazing. Oh, this was recorded with a mono microphone in 1973 in the bathroom of the Watergate Hotel. And it sounds great. You're amazed by it. And this makes it a little bit harder to do because the sound goes from out to in and you start hearing everything. It's a lot like those Fluid FPX7s where you put those monitors on, and I had those versus the KEF R300s. And the KEF R300s made everything sound like silk. It sounds like you were playing through silk and your ears are made of silk. And those sound like your ears are made of your ears, and here's the fucking truth. These sound like the truth. The true. This makes the music come out with the true. Let's put it this way. I like the open back Aeons more than I like the open back Ether C flows. Ether flows, there's no C because the C is closed. Shush. If you put the Ether open backs and these on the desk, I'll take these every time. I think he's had more time to work on his open back tech. And these just do better for me. String Quartet Incubus Drive. There's strings being plucked just right by my head. I could swear someone is playing a fucking violin right there. What are you doing? How are you doing this? I'm going to switch this over real quick. And the strings are being plucked a little further away from my head. It's like, I don't get it. Because these are the open back. These should have the further distance. And on sometimes you put things on and it sounds like it's a little bit wider by default. And you put on this song, which is just the same dampening is being used, and it just sounds wider. It sounds wider and more controlled. And the bass is actually similar. If I get to a real bassy song. Bass Nectar. Bass Nectar, that's... Actually, Bass Nectar doesn't have much bass. You know what has good bass? Run the Jewels. Jewels? How many things can have Run the Jewels in them? There you go. Banana Clipper. It's just good, good hip hop, like boom, boom. I want to hear that. The open backs, honestly, a little bit more low, just the slightest shave of a French knife at a block of cheese. Better low end response. Better low end response. And I think that's one of the reasons when I was going back and forth between these two, I was like, wow, the ethers are so much more than the Aeons, because the bass response in this, if I do this, hold on. Okay, you know, those are so much better. That's why those are 1800 and these are 800. Because those make me laugh like an idiot. That's it. These are expensive. But they're made in small numbers. They're really, really well designed and engineered. And with the dampening, you could sort of tune them a little bit. I would... If you put the dampening pads in, you might get a little more low end out of the closed. But I would honestly sacrifice that. It's a tough call. It's a tough call. I'm holding both of them in my hand. I've been holding both of them in my hand for weeks. And it's still a tough fucking call. It's like, I want the closed. I respect Mr. Speaker's closed. He's improving the opens. The opens are getting there. I think it just needs to... Like, the problem is that these are the same model. That's the real issue, is these are both the Aeons. If he made a closed back set and called them the Aeons, and he made an open back set and called them the Jizz Masters, and he went with a completely different sound, different driver positions, and if he didn't try to make them be brothers, they're brothers, and they're like, oh, they're twin brothers, and one's open back, one's closed back. So they're trying to both be closed. I'm okay with different sound signatures. Like, it's okay if this one sounds like this, and this one sounds absolutely bizarre, crazy, low end, or the highs are too... Break it away. It needs to be further away from this. Because this is fucking great. These are dumb. Don't even... If you have the money for Ether C flows, this decision is real easy. Just get the Ether Cs. But if you're looking between the two Aeons, it's almost too refined. I kind of want it to be a little crazier. I like refinedness in my closebacks because you're basically stepping into an elevator with the music with a closback. And what do you want to walk into an elevator with? A crazy crackhead who's like, I'm gonna stab you? Or do you want to walk into there with like a guy who's talking about science and measurements? That's who you want to walk into a closed elevator with. An open back is sort of like, you know, a balcony during a rally. You could still hear things. It's okay if the guy's a little bit crazier out there. I want a little bit crazier sound out of the open backs. I feel like... Shush. I feel like... I'd use these more. I'll get to you. I'll use these more. But most people would probably prefer the little bit more open space. Just even though the sounds are further away in the closed back, this doesn't sound as claustrophobic. It's hard to... Look, I'm bad at reviewing. You okay? You happy? I said it. Everyone should unsubscribe from me because no one's getting views anyway. There are sound demos, and I left the medium dampening pads in for both sound demos. So it's just whatever comes out of the box is what you're going to hear in those sound demos. They recorded really well regardless. I know that because I did the sound demos before this. I wasn't going to start doing 8 sound demos. It would need 8 sound demos. I'd have to do no pads, black pads, medium pads, heavy pads. No. So... sound demos are linked in the description. The links to these in the description. They're pretty much only on his site. If you're looking for used, our AV exchange exists. eBay can be sketched sometimes, and I don't know if I trust Redditors more than eBay at this point. That is in the description. My Patreon, which is going to become super fucking vital if YouTube keeps being pieces of shit, is in the description and in the upper right hand corner. And what else am I linking? I don't know, some mystery prize from Amazon because I have to support this video somehow. I'm gonna go check my phone. You guys have fun, and check out HiFiGuides.com. I'm not sure when this video is coming out, but I've got someone working on that who's doing actual being paid to improve HiFiGuides.com. The RZOS lists are probably being updated as we speak, or they have been updated. And yeah. Unboxing channel, cooking channel, all sorts of things. So I'm done. Are we done? Am I done? Did I inspire you to buy them? Did I confuse you? Tell me in the comments, because these are hard things to grasp, and I'm trying to give you my best. Thank God I didn't try them on tubes, so that would have been a whole nother fucking ballgame.